Le Corbusier's ideas sounded so crazy because for thousands of years his buildings really would have fallen down. But Le Corbusier was in the right place at the right time. His buildings stayed standing because he built them using concrete. Not just any old concrete, but a new concrete, one that would open up new possibilities for architecture. To demonstrate what I mean, I'm going to show you the problem with traditional concrete. Concrete has been used as a building material for over 4,000 years, and how it's made has changed little in that time. It's just basically cement, sand, and an aggregate, in this case gravel, mixed with water. The cement reacts with the water and hardens, binding the sand and the gravel into a kind of artificial rock. Well, that's the concrete mixed, and as usual, it reminds you why concrete mixers are so great. It's pretty hard work. So now the next thing is to put it into the mould. The brilliance of concrete is that it can be moulded into almost any shape. But its use as a building material is limited by one major weakness. When you get it out of the mould, it looks like this, and it seems pretty strong. But look what happens when I stand on it. Oh. When you put weight on a beam like this, the beam bends slightly, compressing the material on the top of the beam and pulling it apart at the bottom. Concrete is very strong in compression, but very weak when it's pulled apart, under tension as it's called. Slowed down, you can see a crack start at the bottom of the beam and spread upwards, breaking the beam in two. There is a way to do something about it. This is a concrete block made in pretty much the same way as the other one, except for it's got one extra ingredient. Now look at this. It takes my weight, I can bounce up and down on it, I can even hit it with a sledgehammer. A few cracks, but it survived. Let's have another go. Wow, even with a pretty big blow, it's doing all right. Still takes my weight. You've got to admit that's pretty impressive. Now the magic ingredient is actually visible if you have a close look. It's that thing there at the end. It maybe just looks like a bit of aggregate, but actually that's the end of a steel rod that runs all the way through this bar. It's called rebar. It's a piece of steel. This is what it looks like. It's got an unmistakable form because if you've ever been past any kind of construction site, you'll have seen this stuff sticking out of concrete. And this is what stops the cracks that form at the bottom under tension from destroying the whole structure. Steel is unbelievably strong in tension. And so when those tension forces build up, it's the steel that takes them. And it relieves the tension on the concrete. And the concrete is left to take the compression forces, which it's brilliant at. So you take the best of two materials, combine it into one, and create the ultimate building material. Reinforced concrete was exactly what Le Corbusier needed to turn his ideas into reality. It allowed him to build huge, multi-story apartment blocks, so-called cities in the sky, complete with restaurants, shops, living spaces all in one building, parks and playgrounds lifted from the ground and put on the roof. For many, modernist buildings and the concrete they're made from can be difficult to love. But done well, and what you get is transformative. Light and space and a better quality of life. And this is what you get at my old college, St. Catherine's. In the construction of the college, its architect, Arne Jacobsen, put reinforced concrete at the heart of every building. Cast into huge pillars and beams, it provides a framework onto which the rest of the building is hung. Combined with extensive use of metal and glass, Jacobsen's choice of materials come together to create something spectacular. From the outside, the concrete is less in evidence. It's hidden behind the decorative walls and the huge swathes of glass. It's inside that the impact of Jacobsen's use of concrete can be most clearly seen. This is the Great Hall, and it is great. I mean, there is something really thrilling about this space. You come in here and the sheer size of it is just really special. The roof is hung from these concrete beams which are smooth and sleek, sublime. And these pillars, they hold those up. And everything else is superfluous structurally. Everything else is just there to protect you from the wind and the rain. By using reinforced concrete pillars and beams, Jacobsen has created a cavernous dining space large enough to seat the entire college. And because the reinforced concrete carries the weight of the building, the spaces between the beams and along the top of the pillars can be fitted with windows, flooding the hall with natural light. Not everyone likes it. One former student described his time here as spending 3 years at Borstal. For some, this place is an unwanted reminder of the provincial post-war civic architecture. But I disagree. I think this is different. This is concrete in the hands of a genius. It helps that Arne Jacobsen delivered the whole package here. A stunning bespoke interior to set off the concrete exoskeleton. Chairs, tables, even cutlery are all part of the scheme. These days, the building continues to divide opinion. It's recently received a Grade 1 listing, which ruffled some feathers, but not mine. I like this building. I remember my feelings for this building. I liked living here. And I'm just trying to work out how Jacobsen pulled that off, because it's a modernist building. You know, there is stark, strong concrete, and there's big bits of glass. And, you know, you think, well, how affectionate can you really be to those kind of things?